Profligate. Adjective. Recklessly wasteful, especially with money or resources. The profligate spending on branded swag annoyed board members who wanted funds directed toward scholarships instead of glossy tote bags. Stymie. Verb. To block or frustrate progress in a strong way. Loose gravel stymied the truck on the incline, and they unloaded half the hay before the wheels caught again. Steadfast. Adjective. Firm and dependable in purpose or loyalty. Through weeks of criticism, he remained steadfast, listening carefully, adjusting what made sense, and refusing to abandon the core promise to users. Transient. Adjective. Lasting only a short time before changing. The cherry blossoms were transient. A brief pale cloud along the canal before rain thinned the petals into a pink drift on the water. Exalt. Verb. To praise someone or something highly. The review did not exalt the novel as flawless, but it lingered on one chapter set in winter light, where every sentence seemed carved from cold air. Clandestine. Adjective. Kept secret, often to avoid detection. They held a clandestine rehearsal in the back room. Lights dimmed and windows covered because the surprise performance depended on no one leaking the plan. Obscure. Adjective. Not well known or hard to understand. The footpath sign was obscure, its arrows scratched and pale. They guessed wrong twice before a farmer pointed them toward the stile. Rudimentary. Adjective. Basic and not yet fully developed. Their first aid kit was rudimentary, so they stocked it carefully before the trek, adding bandages, antiseptic, and a simple guide they actually read. Repercussion. Noun. An unintended result that follows an action. They considered the immediate savings, but the potential repercussion of losing experienced staff made the decision far more complex. Temper. Verb. To soften or moderate something strong. He tried to temper his excitement with caution, repeating the details aloud so he would not mistake hope for a plan. Requite. Verb. To return a feeling or action, especially to reply to kindness or harm. She tried to requite the favor with theater tickets, though he preferred silence. Assimilate. Verb. To absorb and integrate into a larger body or culture. New hires assimilated faster when mentors paired them with clear weekly goals. Invective. Noun. Bitter, insulting language aimed at someone. The online thread turned to pure invective, so she logged off and walked the dog. Intricate. Adjective. Having many connected parts that are hard to untangle quickly. The intricate mural wound across the stairwell, and she climbed slowly, tracing each painted doorway until the last landing felt like a small museum. Winsome. Adjective. Charming in a sweet, childlike, or innocent way. The puppy gave a winsome tilt of its head, and the strict landlord bent the no pets rule. Suffice. Verb. To be enough. A jacket will suffice for the walk. The rain is only a drizzle. Convene. Verb. To bring people together for a formal meeting or purpose. After the spring flood, the mayor convened neighbors in the school gym, maps spread under fluorescent lights and coffee steaming in paper cups. Commendable. Adjective. Deserving approval because of good judgment or conduct. The nurse's patience with frightened families was commendable, especially on nights when alarms never stopped. Aloof. Adjective. Cool and distant, hard to draw in. The stray cat stayed aloof on the fence, watching the porch until Trust earned a saucer of milk. Exculpate. Verb. To show that someone is not to blame. Security footage exculpated the clerk. The register error had happened overnight. Circumspect. Adjective. Careful to avoid risks or saying too much. He was circumspect during the interview, answering warmly but pausing to choose words that would not betray colleagues who were not there to defend themselves. Disentangle. Verb. To separate things that are twisted together and hard to sort out. They had to disentangle the cables under the stage, working by flashlight until the knots loosened and the speakers hummed back to life. Consolidate. Verb. To combine separate parts into a single whole. She consolidated 3 shoeboxes of letters into one cedar chest. Esoteric. Adjective. Understood by only a small group with special knowledge. The club told esoteric jokes about old radio valves that left newcomers polite and blank. Tactful. Adjective. Careful not to offend while still being honest. He offered tactful feedback, focusing on the work's impact and proposing alternatives instead of criticizing the person. Alacrity. Noun. Eager readiness to act. With surprising alacrity, the crew jumped into the sudden downpour, dragging tarps over the speakers and guiding the crowd toward the doors without panic. Peccadillo. Noun. A small minor fault that is more embarrassing than serious. Lateness was his peccadillo forgiven until the day the keynote started without him. Desultory. Adjective. Jumping from one thing to another without steady focus or plan. They made desultory conversation about sports until the real news landed. Proficient. Adjective. Skilled and capable at doing something. Within a few months, she became proficient with the tools, not by rushing, but by practicing deliberately and asking targeted questions. Demeanor. Noun. The outward behavior and mood a person shows. Her demeanor stayed warm and measured, even when the questions turned sharp and the air in the room felt suddenly thin. Replete. Adjective. Fully supplied or filled. By the end of the harvest dinner, the long table was replete with empty platters, sticky plates, and satisfied conversations that drifted like smoke toward the rafters. Prerogative. Noun. A right or privilege that belongs to a particular person or role. It was the director's prerogative to approve the final cut, but she still invited the whole crew to a screening and listened carefully to their notes. Unequivocal. Adjective. Leaving no doubt, completely clear. The lab issued an unequivocal warning about the water source, and within hours the town posted signs and opened distribution points for sealed bottles. Affinity. Noun. A natural liking for something or a sense of closeness. She felt an affinity for the small-town library, where the worn wooden tables and patient silence made studying feel almost peaceful. Deter. Verb. To discourage someone from acting by making the outcome seem unpleasant. A heavy fine was meant to deter dumping, and the new signs by the riverbank made the message impossible to ignore. Wry. Adjective. Dryly humorous, often with a hint of irony. With a wry smile, he pointed to the spotless kitchen after the party and said the guests had clearly enjoyed the snacks more than the conversation. That's everything for this session. If this helped you, subscribe for more. See you next time.